Here I am, in the place to be. Mr. K&B, you can't fuck with me. Extra sexy, extraordinary. Palms are hairy, your mama pop. What up, y'all? It's K&B, the Sexy Ninja, in the place to be for a Paper Saber universe. And this is the Sexy Ninjacast, a podcast all about K&B, my love, my interests, things that make me go tick, things that make me go boom, things that just make me happy, or things that just make me sad. Either or, welcome. If you are new to the feed, this is a Paper Saber universe. There's other great content here, especially if you rock with me on YouTube. We have archives of great stuff. The Social Event Podcast, Pop Flicks, Snack Me's, Random Ramen, a few short films I've done, like a lot of great stuff in this universe. And this is one of the mini podcasts that I've done here. And I feel good. I feel great. I feel grand, just because the Detroit Lions, my team, it's been my team for a very long time, never shied from it, never, was like, oh, God, and yes, I've had my meltdowns and like, I got to take off this jersey because we suck, get out. But they won their game last night, and they are moving on in the playoffs, and they have not done this in 30-plus years, since 91. And it was just like, oh, my gosh, a surreal moment of like, oh, we beat Stafford. I think that was great, too, and I know a lot of people don't like football or sports, but football is the one sport that I really love, even though I'm a big nerd at heart. It's just a sport that I love. I've played it. I've enjoyed it. I was never good at it, but I can appreciate the athletes that play and everything. And it's funny, it's like wrestling and football have a lot alike. A lot of football players go up to be wrestlers or go to the performance center and stuff like that. But that's besides the point. If you want wrestling talk, check out the New World Podcast. We're talking about the Detroit Lions, baby, and it's huge, especially for that city. And now it's like who do they face? Do they face the Bucks? Do they face the Eagles? Either or, that's going to be a tough one. And and just to make it a little more spicy, them boys. Them Cowboys lost. Oh, my gosh. I've been watching stuff on it all day on TikTok and YouTube shorts and stuff like that. And, like, when they got into the stadium, they all ran in. They're like, woo, yeah, we got them boys. And they all walked down fourth quarter and said, so it was good to see Cowboy fans cry. That's all I can say to that. How's everybody been? I hope your week's been great. I hope your week's been grand. And if not, let's try to pick it up a little bit. There's a few things that I got on my chest that I got questions I got asked about, especially Star Wars when it comes to the wars. And what's funny about that is I literally just watched a clip of Last Jedi, and everyone knows my thoughts about that movie. It's been so long that I drowned out like a good, like, I can't tell you lines from that movie. I can't, there's moments in that movie I could tell you about, but yeah, but it was the scene where, they're on Crate, I believe. See, I can't remember the planets now. The battle, I think it's Crate, and, the rebels, they're in this base, and there's just a few of them, a handful, and it's Luke coming out, and it's not really Luke, it's, Skype Luke. But it's a moment where, Kylo's like, fire everything we got. And Hutch is like, no, there's no, and, but Kylo goes down there and they fight. I was like, oh, this scene's pretty cool, but that's about it. And the reason why I bring up Star Wars is because it was announced, the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. I don't know how I feel about that title, though. Very on the nose. Like, I know Grogu's going to be in this. Like, you could have just called it the Mandalorian movie or something like that. I don't know. But, so Disney has been like, they've been wanting a Star Wars film. There's many attempts and tries, especially with the sequel trilogy doing what it did. And, it's like Rogue Squadron by Patty Jenkins. That never happened at all. So, and all these, and they got 3 other films that they announced as well, a Rey movie,
They also announced, what was it? Dave Filoni's movie, where that's going to take him. Is that going to be the culmination of all his Ahsoka and Mando ties? And now we're getting a Mandalorian and Grogu movie, so I wonder where that falls in Dave Filoni's plans for his movie. Could he just make it into like, oh, we're doing the big one called Heir to the Empire, you know? Then we have the James Mangold film that's going to be like in the beginning times, you know. And I would like to see Rey. I would like to see Finn back. You know, I know Poe ain't coming back. Oscar Isaac's like, nope. But the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, I'm very excited. But the problem is, season 3 was a hit or miss with a bunch of episodes. Like, I got to rewatch that season because it was okay. Like, there was really great moments and just really, like, scratch your head. Like, oh, okay, I guess I enjoy this. Oh, Jack Black? Cool. Lizzo? All right. Sure. Why not in Star Wars? But I am excited. I am very excited. Pedro Pascal coming back and everything like that. I'm excited to see how we can expand this character on the big screen. I think they can. You know, with 2 solid first 2 seasons, I think they can recapture the magic that made The Mandalorian so huge. I mean, huge. And Grogu, Baby Yoda, everywhere. I mean, everywhere. Like, I remember the reveal of Baby Yoda and how huge, that was. And there was no merchandise. There wasn't anything until the reveal of Grogu. And, and we got his name. And now we're like fast forward years later, we got Ahsoka. We have Skeleton Crew. We got Acolyte. We got a lot of stuff. We got great stuff like The Bad Batch. Season 3 is right around the corner. I'm very excited. And I want to see a Star Wars movie in the theaters. That's what I want. As much as I love these series, I love Ahsoka. I love watching my Star Wars movies and stuff like that. But I want a new one in the theater. I remember too when Rogue One came out and Solo. They're like, yeah, we got a whole bunch of these Star Wars stories coming to you. It's, there's a Boba Fett movie that James Mangold was actually tied to but never came to fruition and everything like that. Like, and then when Force Awakens, when they announced like the next 3 films and Force Awakens came out, I remember being like, oh, hell yeah, baby, Star Wars is back. And he saw the Force Awakens and I was just like, oh my God, we could go so many ways with this. And then Last Jedi happened. It's like, whoa, we were going that way. But this one's like, nah, we're taking a hard U-turn in this bitch. And then Rise of Skywalker's like, hey, everything you liked about that first one, here it is. We're back here. But the road is broken. How am I supposed to enjoy this road when it's all bumpy and shaky? Yeah, it's okay. Just put your blinders on. The blind spots in your vehicle. But I hopefully... They said it goes into production this year. That's how quick they are. That's how much Disney's like, we need a Star Wars film into the theaters because they're not doing so hot right now. They're, with the Marvel and everything like that. I just got done watching that show Echo. 5 episodes, like that should have been 6. I don't know. I was jonesing. I was excited. This character was spawned out of Hawkeye. Echo's a real thing in the comic books and everything like that. And, they have this great actress playing her. She's actually deaf and an amputee and everything like that. But, man, she's fantastic in this role. Like, I was so excited because I was like, yeah, Native American representation, baby. We're going to the res. Yeah. We meet this awesome dude named Biscuits and whatnot. And, like, those first 4 episodes were solid, man. I was just like, oh, I'm really enjoying this. First episode is more of a catch-up. Like, do you remember everything that happened in Hawkeye? No, I do not. Oh, yeah, that happened. Oh, yeah, that was her dad. Oh, shit. And, it's fun for me as somebody who is Native American watching these things. Like, they have a pool of Native actors. They have, like, a very small pool. But that's where they pull from. And I'm like, oh, there's Homie. Oh, there's that. Oh, hey. And, I was in a movie called More Than Fry Bread. Not actually a starring role or a role. More of a background character. And, I think it was a Fry Bread security guard or some shit like that. But, there was some actors in that movie that pop up in Echo, and I'm like, oh, hey, he's homeboy. Oh, he's an asshole. I'm just kidding. No. But no, like, it was really cool seeing the Native American representation on the television, and I did enjoy Echo. I enjoyed it all the way up to the 4th episode. Then me and my wife were like 1 episode a night, just because there's hardly really nothing coming out that's grabbing our attentions that we want to watch. But, it's funny, too. It's like, this is the first Marvel thing she wanted to watch with me. She's like, yeah. She goes, because her favorite character is Hawkeye, and we did enjoy the Hawkeye series, and we enjoyed Echo. And we're like, oh, well, how's that going to play out? And then I'm like, oh, yeah, she's getting her own show, apparently. Oh, okay. Show's here. We got Kingpin, and, man, every time his portrayal of Fisk is just incredible. Like, I think this is, like, I remember the first time I really, like, was like, that's Kingpin. I haven't seen the whole series. I still need to catch up on those Netflix series that now are on Disney and now that are canon, apparently. But, that Daredevil series, I remember catching the first, I think, like 3-4 episodes. But there's an episode where, like, Kingpin gets pissed off at this dude, and then he just starts, like, wailing the door into the person's head, and I was just like, oh my God, that is Kingpin! And in this movie, he's trying to be this fatherly figure for Echo and everything like that, and, or Maya, however you want to call her, but, and there's so many great little characters in this show, and she's trying to find, She goes back to the res, and she teams up with a few of her old friends and stuff like that, and they all have ties to Kingpin in some certain way. And then it was building up to, like, there was going to be the battle, and it was going to be the battle at the powwow. Never imagined I would be like, oh, we're going to the powwow, we're going to have a battle, but no, 5 just goes so quick in the quick blinkety blink that everything's resolved, and it's like, boom, it's over, and it's like, oh, well. Me and my wife looked at it, it's like, that was it? It needed one more episode. It needed, like, one more episode. And I really wanted to see the battle at the powwow, man. I wanted to see some dancers getting on, like, fucking fighting and stuff like that. But it's a great show. Just be prepared for episode 5 just to go so quick. And then it's just over. It needed one more episode to go. But I highly recommend it. I did enjoy it. I want to see, hopefully Echo can come back. I really like Maya. I really hope that, we keep her around. Maybe she'll show up in an Avengers movie or something like that. So, and that's the thing with Marvel is, like, I don't know where they're going. And I had a talk with a dude on TikTok who I shared the scene with Wanda basically destroying the Illuminati. She kills Black Bolt first and kills Mr. Fantastic and Captain Marvel and Captain Carter. They're like, oh shit, and then it goes into the fight. But I cut it off right there, and the guy goes, this is this movie's shit. And I just replied back like, yeah. I was like, no, but I love this scene. And he's like, well, this is the reason why this movie's shit. I was like, hey man, to your opinion. I was like, but that's cool. I was like, I like this scene. I was like, it's because I remember being in that theater, and I remember everybody was like, oh shit. Oh, Captain Carter, oh shit, the Illuminati, Professor X, and then all of a sudden Professor X just gets wrecked because he tries to go into Wanda's mind and this and that, and I just remember and for me personally, I was just like, yeah, this is Wanda, man. You don't want to fuck with the Scarlet Witch here. Like, she's going to take all y'all down, and she can show you how powerful she really can be. But then, but with Marvel, that's why, all these loose threads, and I enjoyed Loki season 2, I really did, but and all this stuff with Jonathan Majors, now they're like, we're shifting this way, we're shifting that way. So, and Deadpool's the only movie this year. And I'm not getting no DC movies until next year. That's crazy. Superman Legacy and everything like that. And I think the next superhero movie is Madam Web. I'm like, okay. Yeah, I give two shits about that. I'm excited for Venom 3. Because I do enjoy the Venom movies. The first time I saw the Venom movie, I remember it just didn't stick right. Then, like, after a while, me and my wife tried it again because she goes, oh, Tom Hardy's in this? I was like, yeah, the first time I really didn't care for it. But then the second time I watched it, I was like, oh, okay, it's a buddy thing, and, like, I really grew to enjoy Tom Hardy's portrayal as Eddie and, like, his love and or whatever weirdness he has with Venom and their partnership. And then it just gets even better in the second one. Even though Carnage, I feel like you should have killed Carnage, but still, great moment in a movie, right? Where he's like, oh, Venom's like, fuck this guy. Stab, dead, whatever. Oh, man, I do enjoy those movies. And what else is there? There's Kraven, the Hunter. I remember not being excited. I was like, Kraven the Hunter. Man, they just picking anyone they can for a movie, can they? And especially from Spider-Man. Like, we have all these great Spider-Verse movies, but there's no Spider-Man. Like Morbius and everything like that. And, yeah, and Doctor Who's in there, too, and he dances at some certain point, thinking he's Sam Rockwell or something like that. Yeah. But, a lot of good stuff's coming down the pipe. And, well, mostly good stuff. I saw that there's a Twister remake. As much as I put my ear to the ground on movies, a Twister remake, how are they going to reduplicate that scene where the Twister comes and takes the building, or is it F5 or something like that, and they're holding on by that belt? How can they replicate such greatness from a movie, huh? I was like, that's one hell of a belt to hold these two that are the love people interest or whatever in this movie, but that belt was cinematic gold. How are they going to replicate that? Probably with CGI? Huh, whatever. I just thought it was funny they're making a Twister movie. And then I saw The Conjuring, The Last Rite is coming out too. I do like the Conjuring movies. I really do. I just feel like with Patrick Wilson, I'll watch anything Patrick Wilson's in. I really enjoyed him in Aquaman 2. What else is coming out? I'm trying to think of other movies. There's Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I was like, after Matt Reeves, the War, Planet of the Apes, I was like, and Caesar dies, I was like, I'm good here. I'm good. And then they're like, yeah, they're doing another one. I'm like, and then I saw the trailer and I was like, oh, well, sign me up, baby. Ghostbusters? I don't care. It is, and Paul Rudd's in it. I'm excited about that, but I'm not a big Ghostbusters guy. My brothers fucking hate me for that. They're always like, oh yeah, Ghostbusters coming up. I'm like, Afterlife was cool. I just, it made me cry, at the end when they all got together and goes for him too. And, it was a nice little moment, but it wasn't like, oh my God, like I'm here for the entire franchise now. I'm here for the Ghostbuster franchise. So, and me and Doug were talking about this being in the movie theater because when we went to go watch Aquaman, the Ghostbusters thing, and that nostalgia of, of people who are watching these things, like that's who they're trying to grab because we're sitting next to these two dudes and they were slightly annoying for a bit because they kept talking and I was like, shh. I was like, all right. And that's my biggest thing in the theater. But I was in Sin 1, which I love, or Sin XL, whatever they want to call it, at Harkins. And it drowns them out enough to where it doesn't annoy me. But the trailer happens, the Ferris wheel in New York, and then the ice, and they're like, oh, what's this? And then you see the car, and they're like, oh, Ghostbusters! I'm like, yeah, man, Ghostbusters. I was like, yeah, woo! I will tell you a trailer I did see that really tickled my fancy was Abigail. It's this movie where they kidnap this kid from a billionaire or whatever. Then to come to find out, they get locked in this house, and the kid's all like, I'm very sorry for what I have to do to you. And you find out she's a fucking vampire. She's just murdering everybody. I was like, oh. I was like, sign me up for that one, And I really did enjoy this. And the whole time, too, like, she's flying now. She's dancing with dead bodies and stuff like that. I was just like, all right. Sign me up. And then, other great things I want to watch. Ted. I haven't even seen Ted. I probably will do a review on that because I do like the Ted movies. I think Ted 1 is better than Ted 2. I still need to see Godzilla Monarch, the MonsterVerse and everything like that. I don't know. It's funny. It's like I purposely bought Apple TV so I can watch Monarch. Then I went and saw Godzilla -1. I was just like, I don't know what you can do. I just had a full-blown nerdgasm, and you're probably just going to tease me and not even let me have another nerdgasm because Godzilla -1 is amazing. But yeah, I had a good time with Echo. I'm really excited about the Mandalorian and Grogu. I don't know where we'll go though, and the thing is too is like it gets me thinking like, okay, well, Jon Favreau's going to direct it. Fucking solid. Okay, cool. But what does that, for me personally, like, what does that do to Dave Filoni's movie? What Dave Filoni was like, working on. And everyone's like, who? You know, I was like, man, this is the God, the wolf himself. You know, he did such a great job with Ahsoka. And even though people are like, oh, that's like Rebel Season 4 and stuff like that. Or Season 5. It was 4 or 5? I think 5. Yeah, so... But I am excited to see where we go, because at the end of Season 3 of The Mandalorian, he's got a house. Grogu's chilling. He's like, what else could go wrong, huh? Dun, dun, dun. And will Skeleton Crew tie into the other shows? Will Acolyte? You know, I think Acolyte's a base when the Sith began and everything like that. So... and I that Rey movie I do want to see, and I know the director has a little bit of controversy right now. I wouldn't call it controversy. She just said something and everyone got mad, you know, and it's one of those things. Like, I'm like, okay, you know, it's all right. I'm still gonna, no matter the outcome of controversy and quotations that people say and everything like that, you're still gonna show up to the fucking theater and see a Star Wars movie, because it's Star Wars, you know. Or is it going to be Star Wars? Well, I don't know. Shit. Andor was a lot of things, and sometimes not Star Wars, sometimes Star Wars, sometimes just a great thriller of a ride, you know, all the way up now Rogue One. And that's, for me, I'm like, I can't wait until Season 2 just to see how can you do what you did in Season 1 and Season 2, and we know the outcome of the characters. You know, this character, he's going to die. Spoilers in Rogue One. Give me a Vader series. I want a Vader series. Shit. On Mustafar all alone and depressed, walking around, saying, oh, I hate lava. Keeps burning me. Yeah, so tell me what you think. What do you think the Mandalorian movie and Mandalorian and Grogu? You know, I think on Rebel Force Radio, they call it... was it the Mandalorian and Grogu? The Mandalorian and Grogu. Tmag. Yeah, Tmag. That's what they call it, because kids like to do that now. They like FNAF. I didn't know FNAF was Five Nights at Freddy's until my daughter was like, she's like, oh, I'm playing FNAF. I'm watching FNAF. I was like, what the fuck is FNAF? And she's like, Five Nights at Freddy's, Dad. I was like, oh. And like Motu. Masters of the Universe. I see people like, oh, we just shorten things down. So, you know, I'm joining that game now. Tmag all the way. The Mandalorian and Grogu, baby. Tmag. So, and I because from what I know is Season 4 is completely written out. Now he just needs to condense it into a feature film. And so, and Jon Favreau loves Star Wars. He obviously does. He is a great storyteller, so I'm like, bring it on. Hopefully this is the spark of something new, because Star Wars kind of needs something, especially movie-wise, going into the theater. There's also a What If series in the works, in the development. Not Marvel What If, but a What If series. And they did do these too. What If type stories back in the day in Dark Horse Comics. They're like, what if Luke what if Luke missed? You know, what if Leia was really the chosen one? You know, what if this happened in Empire Strikes Back? You know, so everyone's like, oh my God, they're trying to be Marvel. No, these are things that are out there, that have been out there. So do some fucking homework. Okay? All right. That's all. That's it. That's all. I'm a happy camper. Great news, watching great stuff. Go check out Echo. Tell me what you think of The Mandalorian and Grogu. What movie are you excited for this year? And go check out that Abigail trailer. It'll make you happy. All right, y'all. Like and subscribe. Share it with your grandma. Share it with your grandpa. Share it with the bum down at Walmart. I am KMB, the Sexy Ninja. And remember, stay sexy, ninjas. Whoop, whoop.
Welcome to the wicked shit.